In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to configure NTP, or Network Time Protocol. And Network Time Protocol is it's a management protocol that's used everywhere on network devices. And what it does is you designate different devices as either a client or a server, and use typically an external NTP source for your time to synchronize your network devices with. And so all the devices have to be synchronized to the same time, and it's a key part of when you're setting network connectivity, that you do have your local devices are set up to their time synchronized, and the time synchronization is correct. So in this example, I'm going to enable router 1 for NTP. There's the NTP server there. So in this example, I'm just going to sign on to the router. Go through and I'm going to do show run. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start configuring, and it's pretty basic configuration, just a few commands. And so I'm going to tell it where the NTP server is, 192.168.3.1. So that's the IP address, so that it knows where to synchronize and get the time information. Then I'm going to set up NTP authentication key. So this is the command, and this is for security purposes, so it can authenticate to the NTP server and know that it's the NTP server. So you set up a key, and you give it a number, like 35 for example. Tell it to use MD5 authentication and use a string CCNA for authenticating. So the key is a number, and CCNA is actually the string. So what I'll do is I'll just go here and NTP server 192.168.3.1. It is a global command. Then I'll just set up the authentication key. That's that command. And then I've got NTP trusted key 35. Don't trust that key, and that's the key number. Trusted key 35. That's that done. And then NTP authenticate, and that just enables authentication as a service. NTP authenticate, that's done. Then I want to set up a clock time zone, and that's important to do because whenever you use NTP, it uses time zone information as well. So in this case, I'll just use specific time zone. So clock time zone, set it for Pacific time, so it's offset by 8 hours. And that will configure NTP. And what I'll do is I'll go to router 2 and do the same thing. I'll configure it for the same thing, and then just run some verification commands. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to sign on here again. And NTP server 192.168.3.1. Then I want to go and get this command. It's using the same key string as the previous router 1. They're all using the same because they're authenticating to the same server. So you need to use the same authentication information. So I'll just put that in authentication key. It's using number 35 key, MD5, and the string is CCNA. That's configured on the NTP server as well. Then just NTP trusted key 35. And then just NTP authenticate. And those are all the commands required, and that sets up NTP server synchronization, time synchronization I should say, and then authentication to the server as well. And I got to do the clock time zone as well. And that'll just be a PST offset by 8. And that sets up the time zone information as well. So we'll just go do some commands. Show NTP status is typically the command you would use to make sure everything's working okay. So it says clock is synchronized, stratum is 2. 2 means it's 1 hop away from the, it means the distance is from the NTP server reference. And the reference is 3.1, so that's the IP address of the NTP server. And so that's the key information there. You know it's running, and so everything looks fine there. Go to router 2, we'll do the same thing. And clock is synchronized, stratum is 2, and that shows the hops from the server. So clock is synchronized, so as you get lower stratums, it's preferred. Reference is 3.1, so that says I'm using the right NTP server, and everything else looks fine, so it's all configured correctly. And that concludes NTP.